Do you know how to engage the right stakeholders to ensure your project's success? In this video, we guide you through the critical steps to identify and engage key stakeholders during the project initiation phase. From understanding the project scope to analyzing stakeholder influence, we'll help you build strong relationships that keep your project on track. Subscribe to our channel now, and don't miss out on expert strategies for better stakeholder engagement. Watch the full video today. Welcome to NxtChair, where we help you become a project management pro. In today's video, we'll be discussing a crucial part of the project initiation phase: how to identify key stakeholders. Stakeholders are people who have an interest in or influence over your project, and engaging them early can be the difference between project success and failure. Let's walk through the 5 key steps to identify the right stakeholders in the initiation phase of your project. Step 1. Understand the project scope. The first step in identifying stakeholders is having a clear understanding of your project scope. The project scope defines what the project is going to accomplish, the deliverables, and what's in and out of the project boundaries. Take time to review the project's objectives and goals. Ask yourself, who will this project impact directly and indirectly? This could include departments that will benefit from the project, teams whose work may be disrupted, or external groups that might be affected by its outcomes. The scope gives you a roadmap for where to look for stakeholders, whether they are internal to the organization or external entities. By knowing exactly what your project entails, you can start mapping out who has a vested interest in it. Step 2. List potential stakeholders. Once you understand the scope, it's time to brainstorm and list down potential stakeholders. Stakeholders usually fall into 2 categories: internal and external. 1. Internal stakeholders. These are individuals within your organization. 1. Think about your project team, department heads, senior management, and employees who will be impacted by the project. They could also include cross-functional teams that need to collaborate on different aspects of the project. 2. External stakeholders. These might include clients, customers, vendors, suppliers, regulatory bodies, or even the local community if the project has a broad reach. 2. Essentially, anyone outside the organization who could be affected or involved in the project outcomes. While creating your list, think broadly. You want to include not just the obvious stakeholders but also those who might influence the project indirectly. For instance, leadership teams that control budgets or decision-making, or even teams outside of the direct project scope that could be affected by its outcome. The more comprehensive your list, the better prepared you'll be to manage expectations later. Also, if you're finding this helpful so far, don't forget to like and share this video, and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. We'd love to hear from you in the comments. Who do you think are the most important stakeholders to identify first in a project? Let us know below. Step 3. Analyze stakeholder influence and interest. Now that you have a list of potential stakeholders, the next step is to analyze their level of influence and interest in the project. Not all stakeholders are equal in terms of how they impact or care about your project. Some have high influence and can shape major decisions, while others may have minimal involvement. A helpful tool here is the Stakeholder Influence-Interest Matrix. You can plot each stakeholder into one of 4 quadrants. 1. High influence, high interest. These are your top priority stakeholders. They could be project sponsors, senior management, or key clients. Their involvement and support are critical, and you'll need to keep them highly engaged and informed. 2. High influence, low interest. These stakeholders have the power to affect your project's success but may not be very involved. For example, executives who control funding but aren't part of day-to-day operations. You need to ensure they're updated at critical points but without overwhelming them with details. Low influence, high interest. These stakeholders may not have decision-making power but are highly interested in the project's progress, such as employees or customers. You'll want to keep them informed and ensure they feel heard, but you don't need to focus as much on influencing their decisions. Low influence, low interest. These stakeholders require minimal attention. They might only need updates at major milestones or at the project's end. By categorizing stakeholders this way, you can tailor your communication strategy to suit their needs, keeping the right people engaged without wasting time on unnecessary details. If you are enjoying this step-by-step guide, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more valuable project management content. Your support helps us create more useful guides like this one. Step 4. Engage stakeholders early. Once you've identified and categorized your stakeholders, it's essential to start engaging them early in the project initiation phase. Early engagement sets the tone for how you'll collaborate throughout the project. For your key stakeholders, consider holding one-on-one meetings or group discussions to understand their expectations and concerns. Ask questions like, what are your top priorities? Or, what would success look like from your perspective? This helps you align the project objectives with their needs and gather valuable feedback. Stakeholders who are engaged early are more likely to support your project when critical decisions arise, and it also gives them a sense of ownership in the project's success. Clear, consistent communication from the start builds trust and reduces resistance later on. Step 5. Review and update stakeholder list regularly. Projects are dynamic, and as they evolve, so too can your stakeholder list. Stakeholders' levels of influence and interest can shift over time. Someone who had a low interest at the start might become more invested as the project progresses, or new stakeholders might emerge if the project scope expands. That's why it's important to review and update your stakeholder list regularly. Make it a point to revisit your list during major project phases or milestones to ensure you're still focusing on the right people. New influencers may enter the picture, or existing stakeholders may need more or less attention. By regularly updating your list, you can stay proactive in your stakeholder engagement and avoid surprises down the road. Conclusion. To summarize, identifying key stakeholders in the project initiation phase is crucial for your project's success. Start by understanding your project scope, then list potential stakeholders, analyze their influence and interest, engage them early, and continuously update your stakeholder list. By following these steps, you'll ensure that the right people are involved from the start, minimizing risks and maximizing support for your project. If you found this guide useful, be sure to like this video, share it, and subscribe to our channel for more project management insights. Don't forget to comment below with your thoughts. What's the biggest challenge you've faced when identifying stakeholders in a project? We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.